This is the Vivi Electric Bike. What grabbed me right away is how confident it feels when the road turns messy, and how easy it is to keep a steady pace without working too hard. This sits in that fat tire electric bike category, and it is built for riders who want stability and comfort without giving up speed. It suits daily commuters who deal with a few hills, beginners who want something forgiving and predictable, and weekend riders who like to explore paths that are not perfectly paved. If you are curious about electric bikes and want one that feels solid from the first pedal stroke, this is a very approachable place to start. The design looks rugged but not flashy. The aluminum frame feels sturdy in a way that makes me trust it when I drop off a curb or cut across a gravel lot. The wheels are about 26 inches, and the tires are about 4 inches wide. Those tires are the star of the show because they add grip and comfort that you can feel right away. On pavement, they give a smooth, planted ride with a little bit of a soft cushion. On sand or gravel, they bite in and keep the bike upright when a thinner tire would slide. The trade-off is weight. The bike is around 55 pounds, and you notice that when you try to carry it up a flight of stairs. I found it easier to roll it to a good parking spot and leave it there, then pop the battery out if I needed to charge indoors. The battery sits on the frame, it locks in place, and it is removable. I like this setup because it gives me options. If there is an outlet near the bike, I plug it in right there. If not, I unlock the battery and charge it inside while the bike stays put. With mixed riding, I get anywhere from about 30 miles to around 60 miles on a full charge. I see the lower end of that range when I lean on the throttle all the time or when there is a lot of climbing. I get the higher end when I use pedal assist more and ride on flatter ground. That is real-world useful range, not a best-case number that only happens on a perfect day. Controls are simple and clear. There is a small liquid crystal display that shows speed, battery level, distance, and which level of pedal assist I am using. It looks like a lot at first, but it makes sense after a minute. I keep it on the screen that shows speed and battery level most of the time, and I tap up or down on the assist when I hit a hill or want to back off. I appreciate that the bars have enough space between the grips to mount a small, clear handlebar bag for my phone. I can glance at navigation without taking my eyes off the road for long. There is also a spot for a water bottle cage, and full fenders are included. Those fenders matter on wet streets. They keep the spray off my back and shoes better than I expected. Getting it ready to ride was straightforward. It arrived mostly assembled, I would say around 90%. I spent time truing the front wheel slightly, tightening a few bolts, aligning the front brake, and inflating the tires to a pressure that felt right for my weight and the mixed surfaces I ride. If you have done any basic bike setup before, this will feel familiar. If you have not, the guide is enough to get you through. I took it slow and was rolling within an hour or so. I did a quick bedding and run for the disc brakes, and after that they felt consistent. On the road, the motor has a calm but confident push. It is rated at about 500 watts, with peaks around 1000 watts when you need a burst. That translates to steady acceleration from a stop, and enough torque to hold speed on a moderate climb. I regularly see top speeds around 25 miles per hour on flat ground, with assist and throttle helping. For me, that is fast enough to keep up with city traffic on slower streets while still feeling in control. The thumb throttle is smooth, not jerky. I use pedal assist levels 2 or 3 for cruising, and I bump up to level 4 or 5 when I face a big hill or a strong headwind. The transition between levels is predictable. You can ride it with the motor off like a normal bike, and while you feel the extra weight, it is manageable for short stretches. Braking is handled by front and rear disc brakes. In dry conditions, the stopping power is strong and easy to modulate. In rain, the performance stays reliable, which is one of the big reasons I like disc brakes on a bike with this much mass and speed. The 7-speed gear shifter pairs well with the assist. I use the lower gears with lower assist on steeper hills to keep my cadence comfortable, and the higher gears on flat sections when I want to spin less and cruise. The shifting is not fancy, but it is dependable and clicks into place without fuss. Let me talk about ride quality for a minute. Fat tires do a lot of work here. They mute chatter from cracked pavement, expansion joints, and gravel. I do not need to pick the perfect line every second. The bike tracks straight through rough patches that would slow me down on a thinner tire. On pavement, you do hear a soft hum from the tires at higher speeds. I do not mind it. It is just the sound of big rubber doing its job. The aluminum frame feels solid, not flexy, which helps the bike stay composed when you take a corner with a bit of speed. In daily use, a few patterns showed up. On my weekday commute, I leave home with the battery topped off, hop onto a mix of neighborhood streets and a riverside path, and let pedal assist level 3 do most of the work. When I hit a short climb, I tap up to level 4 and keep my cadence where I like it. If I have to jump ahead from a stoplight, I use the throttle for a second to clear traffic, then go back to pedaling. I arrive without sweat, which is great if I do not feel like changing clothes. On a Saturday loop, I cut through a park, then take a gravel trail that gets sandy in a few spots. The fat tires earn their keep there. The bike stays upright and predictable as the surface changes from packed dirt to loose sand to small gravel. I tried a short stretch of beach access where the sand is deep, and as long as I kept a light grip and a steady pace, the bike cruised through better than I expected. On a rainy afternoon, the fenders kept road spray off my legs, and the headlight made me visible when the sky turned gray. The headlight is bright enough for being seen and for riding on lit streets. If I spent a lot of time on dark trails at night, I would add an extra light, but for city use it does the job. Hills can be a deal breaker on some electric bikes. On my local steep climb, I set assist to level 5, drop into an easier gear, and let the motor do its share. The bike does not lurch or bog down. It holds a steady pace and feels like it has more in reserve. The motor noise is a low whir that fades into the background once I am moving. I pay more attention to the wind and tire noise than the motor. Charging is painless. After a longer ride, I pop the battery off, bring it inside, and put it on the charger while I make dinner. If I know I will ride again later, I lock it back in place and charge it on the bike. The lock mechanism feels secure. I like knowing I can take the battery with me if I am worried about leaving the bike outside for a while. There are a few small things to keep in mind. The weight is real. If you live upstairs without an elevator, plan on rolling it where you can and carrying the battery separately. The frame and big tires make the bike feel tall. I am average height and it fits me well, but someone much shorter might feel the step over is a bit high at first. The saddle is firm out of the box. It broke in after a week, but if you prefer plush, you might swap to a different seat. The tires, while great for grip, will feel slower than a skinny tire if you are trying to set a personal speed record on smooth pavement. For me, the comfort trade-off is worth it. A few thoughtful touches add up over time. The liquid crystal display is readable in daylight, which makes it easy to check speed or assist without squinting. The 5 levels of pedal assist give real range, not just on or off. The thumb throttle is well placed, so I can feather it with my right hand while shifting with the same hand when needed. The included fenders are sturdy enough that they do not rattle. The water bottle mount is in a spot I can reach without looking down for too long. The cockpit has enough space to mount a phone bag without crowding the controls. None of these are flashy features, but together they make the bike feel like it was built for day-to-day use. Who is this bike for? If you want a stable, confidence-building electric bike that can handle rough patches on your route, this fits. If your commute has a few hills and you want to arrive feeling fresh, this fits. If your weekends include mixed surfaces and you value grip and comfort over shaving every ounce, this fits. If you need to carry a bike upstairs every day, the weight may wear on you. If you are shorter and prefer a low-step frame, you might want to try one before you commit. For most riders who want a reliable, versatile electric bike with real range and a motor that feels strong without being shouty, the Vivi Electric Bike hits a very practical sweet spot. I like that it feels more premium than I expected in day-to-day riding. The frame feels tough. The motor delivers steady power. The battery system is flexible. The handling is forgiving. After spending time with it on city streets, gravel paths, and a few sandy stretches, I trust it to get me where I am going without drama. It earns a spot as my go-to ride when I want comfort and capability without fuss. I will leave all the information about the Vivi Electric Bike in the comments. I hope to see you again in the following videos.